Predictions for 2010, Gary. Well, Mr. Roberts, Mr. Sanchez, and Mr. Betancourt, all able performers.
An energetic panel.
Yeah.
In interesting discussions, and I think they're probably all right one way or another.
Let's talk about them individually. Mr. Sean Roberts ran against Sheila Jackson Lee, didn't make a particularly strong effort against the incumbent, but I
think he did a better job on our show than he did in his political race.
That's right. Do you not think that the Republicans are vulnerable on the Hispanic issue, given that Mr. Sanchez is the only one left standing?
Well, I think there's explanations for what happened to the Hispanic candidates, but if you ask me if I'd rather have the Hispanic candidates on the ballot or not, I'd rather have them on the ballot. So yes, on balance, they would have been better.
But I take it Betancourt's criticisms, I take them to heart, which is that the Democrats didn't exactly retain any of their Hispanic candidates. Hispanics need to vote, and I don't know what's going to motivate them to get them out in this state.
At some point, they're going to get involved. At some point, we're going to reach a critical point where the Hispanic community starts voting. I mean, we're not there yet. I mean, that's the bottom line.
Mixed messages from...
If you look at the primary results, you have the Republican Party, which is down ballot ticket, predominantly Anglo. You have the Democratic Party ticket, predominantly African American. I mean, that's what you've got. Which, there's African Americans running as Democrats. I don't know, and there's some Anglos running as Republicans.
But I'm in conflict. You resolve this conflict as we close. One of the participants say it's going to be a blowout in November. The other one, Orlando, not so sure. Thinks it needs to be based on what the Republican argument is for Rick Perry.
Yeah, and in fact, Orlando said you had to put meat on the bone. You just can't be against, which is something our other guests talked about, too.
There you have it, folks. You have to put meat on the bone. That's what Gary Pollan says you have to do if you're a Republican.
Or a Democrat, for that matter.